Another new camera alert. Okay, cool. New Sony a7C, basically like the Sony a7 III, but smaller form factor, and a flippy screen. I can see myself, finally. Hello. So you guys can let me know how it looks as we talk about all things iPad. Before I complain a little bit about iPad OS, I'm just gonna run through some shortcuts and things that you have to know if you have an iPad, because recently a TikTok went viral of someone showing how to multitask with 2 different apps on the iPad. Okay, you got your web browser here, you're taking notes here, and you can move it around like that, but also you can pop it out to where it floats around. How cool! And you can have multiple apps right here. How cool is that? This is something that has been on the iPad for over a year now. So in addition to that, we need to talk about iPadOS 14 and one of the coolest features that just works. I was a little nervous when the betas were coming out, but that's Scribble, and it's a way to use your Apple Pencil more to bridge the gap between typing and handwriting. Scribble, scribble, scribble. Scribble. This feature bridges the gap of the awkwardness of writing a lot with your pencil, but still needing to type a few things here and there. So I have this A silver pencil selected, and I wanna add something after this, but I don't want the keyboard to be involved. I make sure the cursor is where I want the text to start and say, this is the extra text. And see, my handwriting isn't that great, but it does it. Boom, period. Oh, that did a comma. There we go. And if you just saw what I did there, it was some pretty quick actions. So a straight line will join 2 pieces of text as well as separate them. A up and down scribble will delete it. A double tap will select a word and you can copy and paste. And circling some text will select an entire sentence. It works really, really well, and it's just a lot of fun. Bloop. Oh. Okay, so now we can venture into the video knowing that you have learned something already, and we're just going to talk about iPadOS 14, how I've been using it on my iPad. Thank you so much, Notion, for sponsoring this video. I mention them in almost all of my iPad videos or productivity videos. Notion is such a great tool to run your life, business, video production, basically just all of the above. And every time I mention it just in passing in my videos, people are like, okay, but can you take us through your setup? And I'm going to do that at the end of the video if you hang around. But also, Scribble works really well in the Notion app, so I'm gonna show that off. So here we go. You guys have gone crazy with iOS 14 and the widgets and the customizability. It's inspiring for sure, but wow. For now, I've gone with the more minimalistic approach where, hey, look at that autofocus, good job. I have a few widgets on my home screen that are stackable, right? That's fun. But I've also hidden all of my pages, if you can see. So going for that minimalistic approach because, hey, if I need something, I get to scroll over to the side in the Android-esque app library situation and find the app I need. I love that, that's so cool. And then I have some more widgets over here in the Today view. Okay, great. So you just got a preview of my iOS setup, but my question is, why do we not have that in iPadOS? I don't want all of these apps here. If you see, I have put almost everything into folders in my second page. Well, why don't we have app library in iPadOS 14? Also, here's a pro tip if you have just been inspired to redesign your home pages of all of your Apple devices. If you hold down on an app and you click other apps, you can move them as a whole, like that. So you don't have to sit there and tap every single app to move them. Man, I just feel like it'd be so cool to have the home page with all of my widgets that I love and then scroll over and boom, a big app library. Request number 1. Okay, so how great are widgets, right? They're fun, they're cool, but on the iPad, it's only limited to Today view. So landscape, it's there, but if you turn it, oh, it disappears, but then you can slide from the side and get your Today view. And that's how they reconcile widgets with the 2 views. You know, you turn your iPhone this way and it doesn't work that way. So I understand that it might be a little bit more complicated on the iPad to have the free-flowing widgets everywhere like on the iPhone, but I want it. Do you know how powerful the iPad could be if you could just have widgets everywhere and you could just have pages of widgets and shortcuts and doing all the things? Because honestly, shortcuts, it's having its moment. Hey, we had Matthew on the pod, on That Creative Life, my podcast, over a year ago, talking about shortcuts and how powerful they can be. Of course, I was just like, yeah, I have a shortcut where I can order my Indian food via Seamless with one touch of a button. Like, that's what I've been doing with shortcuts. It's not anything too crazy, but seeing how creative people are being, and so I'm just using them for everything. Because you can share any individual page in Notion, the productivity app that I use, I basically made shortcuts for my most used pages. So this goes straight to my photo diary, where I try to take a picture every single day, put it in my photo diary so I can remember it and reminisce. I have another shortcut for my to-dos. It takes me straight to my inbox. And you can even take that a step further and you can turn any shortcut into a home screen icon. This is what you've been seeing, how people have changed the icons of just their normal Instagram, Twitter app, and they're getting very creative. I think my favorite ones were at the Animal Crossing home screens. Oh, so good. When you hit add to home screen, you can change the icon just from your photo library. And I did that with Notion. So because when I pick up my iPad or my iPhone, it's because I want to input, oh, I have an idea about a video that I'm making. I want to dive into the respective pages of each video super quick. So I turn that current video shortcut just into an app on the dock below here. So every time I hit the Notion icon, it goes straight, oh, is it thinking? Is it confused? Well, there we go. That was weird. That hasn't, let's try that again. So when I hit the Notion icon, okay, there we go. It goes straight to my current videos page where I have sorted my YouTube videos database into the videos that I'm currently writing and I'm editing. So it only is going to pop up a few videos, not like my entire database of videos. And I can go, okay, this is the video I'm working on. I tap into it and I go straight into it. It minimizes the amount of taps that I have to go through if I just opened up the normal Notion icon. And this is most powerful when you use the dock in a way you put all of your apps that you use the most with multitasking. So say you're Googling, but oh, you need to add something to your calendar over here. That was so quick, just adding the calendar to your view instead of going like, oh, I have to go home and then I have to like find the calendar icon, where is it? So if you just put all of the apps that you multitask with here on the dock, multitasking is gonna be so quick, so fun, and so clutch. And then once you start introducing shortcuts, some of those icons aren't the default apps, but shortcutting to the exact URL or exact page that you want, ooh, that's when you take it to the next level. But I say all of that to just imagine a world where your iPad screen is just fully customizable. So you can have random shortcuts everywhere and random widgets. You could have maybe pages of widgets and shortcuts instead of apps, and it was just fully customized. Please, please, Apple, please. Basically, having everything in iOS 14 that we got over in iPadOS would just be great. And again, I know it's a little complicated because the widgets would change depending on the orientation, but I have faith that Apple can figure it out. They're very smart people. I love the smart stacks too. So I basically have like my calendar and the weather. Then I always have to know what the Bitcoin price is. So we have smart stacks right there. Really, when it comes to tablets, I mean, there's a reason why you guys don't see Samsung Tab reviews from me, because it gets to a point with those guys where I'm just like, give me a laptop. I don't want to do this anymore. But even though I do have those moments with the iPad for sure, the iPad is just a whole different beast, and it kind of inspires you to do fun work and work in a different way. And especially if you're an illustrator and you're in Procreate and stuff, I mean, the iPad is kind of a no-brainer. For me, it's just the note-taking that I have fun with. But okay, let's expand on the cool stuff, positive stuff, besides me just being like, Apple, please do this. Oh, and look, I forget these new Sony cameras, thank goodness, don't have a record limit. So we just went past the 30-minute mark, even though you guys have only seen a little bit of footage, because half the time when I record these videos, it's just me being like, okay, so how obvious is it that that is where I put all my junk on top of the filing cabinet? Pretty obvious. Well, guys, I'm not perfect, okay? Oh, this is so comfy. Why didn't I start here? another handy way to use these updates in iPadOS and iOS because, you know, even though they're different for the iPad and for the iPhone, there are differences, there are a lot of similarities with the new iMessage. I so desperately wanted the ability to mark read and unread like an email for messages. We didn't get that, that was a rumor, but a way that I've been using pinning messages. I started with pinning my most important messages, the most important people, but I really didn't like the UI of it, and I rather have just seen them in the normal message column. I can see the preview of the message. It just got a little cluttered up here. So the way I use pin messages now is, oh, if I need to get back to a text message that I can't answer right now, like, you know, an email, you'll either flag it or just mark it unread, I'll just pin that conversation. So I know, oh, I need to get back to them. So it's less of, oh, a MySpace top 8 and more of a, hey, Sarah, get to these conversations that are pinned. So it's basically a reminder every time I open up my messages. Okay, so let's see Scribble in action. The two productivity apps that I use just all the time, you already know Notion. I love Notion. Thank you for sponsoring this video. And the other one is OneNote. So in between those, I really don't write handwritten in my moleskins anymore. I put all of my ideas from conception to finishing it, filming it, editing it in a video in between those two apps. Where I was a little bummed is Scribble doesn't work in OneNote. And again, I love using the iPad as a tool to just make stuff, do my job. And so when I'm in these two apps, I want it to be, you know, using new features. But if you use OneNote on a Windows tablet, a 2-in-1, that's already a OneNote feature if you pay for it, where it basically turns handwritten notes into text. Now, the way it executes it isn't as good as Scribble, but that's a feature that even if you pay for it, you can't access it on the iPad app. Even though the iPad app is really, really good, that's something like exclusive to Windows machines, which has always been a bummer, but it's even more of a bummer that Scribble isn't working in it. OneNote, please add that. But where it works really well is Notion. So here is my database for all of the videos I make, to-do list that I'm just completely behind on. Let's go into this video that I'm still writing. I basically haven't even started. So say I'm chilling on the couch, I'm watching YouTube videos, I'm doing my thing on the iPad, an idea pops in my head. Ooh, I need to write that down for this video. But I have the iPad and the smart keyboard upside down because I just like that angle sometimes, sue me. So I'm not really in the position to use the keyboard, but hey, I got the Apple Pencil right there. I'm just gonna jot something down real quick. This is my idea. So I start scribbling. Oh, that's working super well. Let's go to the next line. This is what I want to say in the video. Oh, let's say I want to delete that. Oh, actually delete that. Oh wait, I need to select that word. Oh no, that. Let's actually cut that. Let's put it up here. Okay, perfect. Oh, those two words are together. They shouldn't be together. Bloop. Okay, great. Oh, you know what? I kind of want a period right there. So let's just do that. Okay, we're good. Next line. I want to add a Notion block. So let's do that. We'll do a to-do list. Okay, so film this. And then, oh, I actually want to pull up the keyboard a little bit, so we'll return. How about do that? Cool. Okay, let's move this over here. I love the versatility. I love that you can just pull out a keyboard whenever you need it. It's just mwah. So it's not technically pencil support in Notion, but we're that much more close, and often just normal text looks cleaner than handwritten notes. So yeah, I'm just a fan. It's smooth. Okay, so I hope those were some helpful thought starters with the new iPadOS and iOS, and a desperate call to also developers of apps. If you aren't Scribble friendly, please become Scribble friendly. We love Scribble. That was almost a tongue twister. So if you're intrigued on how I use Notion to do my job, to plan videos, all of the things, stick around because I'm gonna hop over to my desk here from a few weeks ago and share that exact workflow. And away we go. Okay, Notion setup, as you guys can tell, I kind of use it for everything that I do. So here is my content 2020. So this is all things YouTube videos, socials, sponsors, random notes. I don't use this a ton. These are just for public notes. I do use OneNote a ton, as you've seen in this video. So this is just for if I need public notes with some of my team members. For each of these spaces, whether it's content, that creative life, my podcast, or switchboard, I have a lot of commonalities, and that is the to-do list and the notes. And a lot of these are databases, and they all relate to each other. And that's what is really cool about Notion, is you can view information in different ways. When you're in Notion, it's really powerful if you can make these tables as general as possible, and then use the different views to really narrow down things. And you can use sort and filter to do so. I'm sorting this just on status, so whether it's published or it's gone through these other different statuses. Where I get a little bit more specific is when I start going into the different views over here. So not done, that basically says, okay, I'm gonna sort these, all of them, depending on what the status is. So status is not published, it's gonna do all of these videos that have anything but the published status. And then you can go into the calendar view where you can really get a good bird's eye view of videos that I'm going to publish. And then I have the dates within these cards of when I should send them for approval if it has a sponsor. Also have the progress board view. So this is going to be a familiar view if you use other productivity tools, but I'm not the biggest fan of this view. It's just there for every once in a while checking. I really like the table view, and that's honestly why I've stuck to Notion so much. I haven't figured out what like the perfect video template is yet, but I usually have, you know, some title ideas, a B-roll with checklists. That's the thing with Notion is, one, it's just really easy to move text around, but the other thing is it's just really great for not just note-taking, but organize information behind all of these different basic blocks. So you have different ways of displaying your text. I use this toggle option a lot because, you know, you can like hide the information when it's not important and display it when it is. That helps a lot with my thought process. That is a lot of random sometimes, so it's a way to clean up your pages for sure. So this is actually where I almost wrote out an entire script for a video, which is unique for me. I usually do some bullet points and then just shoot from the hip. That's definitely what I'm doing for this video. But with the iPad, there were so many things I wanted to make sure that I said that I actually wrote out a lot of it. And as you can see here, there is a comment section for each page. I do have an editor help out edit like 30 or 40% of these videos when I can't get to one. So here in the comment section, we can keep track of stuff, and I can talk to either, you know, editor or my manager about things. And again, like I mentioned before, the real power of Notion is that you can relate databases to each other. So, okay, I have an upcoming video. If I click on this sponsor column, it's gonna take me to my sponsor database where I can choose the person who's gonna sponsor the video, or I can just type in, you know what, Sarah Dietschy is gonna sponsor this video. If I say create a new page, Sarah Dietschy, boom, that's there. If I go to the sponsor page, it created an entire new page for that sponsor, Sarah Dietschy, and I can, you know, write in some stuff about the sponsorship, or I can attach, you know, statement of work files up here. So I know this is like very, very meta of my process, but it's been the thing that works for me, and I enjoy it. Okay, hang in there with me. I want to talk about one more setup. Seems like I just gotta do like a full video, but again, I don't want to bore you guys. Let me know if you want that. So this is how I keep my podcast scheduled. So I have a lot of guests. I like to keep things organized. And hey, I guess you're getting a scoop. You're seeing future guests here. So here I keep the different statuses similar to my YouTube videos. Here is really important where I keep the published dates and also the record dates of when they are scheduled. This way I can have a really nice calendar view of what episodes are going live when, who's editing them, what are their status, do they have sponsors, what number are they. Here is where we organize the YouTube schedule for the That Creative Life Clips YouTube channel. Drayton, the meme king, he is doing a really good job helping me with That Creative Life. This is kind of where he gets organized. We got some of that meme content and all of the things. So holy smokes, I am now realizing that I could probably talk about this to you for literally hours, but I'm gonna stop myself there. That was probably only like 40%, maybe 50% of my Notion setup, but maybe that'll get some ideas going when it comes to productivity, getting your life organized. I know a lot of people use this for not only work and content and creative stuff, but also school when it comes to college. There's so many possibilities. There's so many templates that you can check out that just get you started. I know for me, I watched a lot of Thomas Frank videos to really start a YouTube Notion workflow, and that helped me in the beginning. And then this has honestly just become a beast of its own because yeah, I spend a lot of time in it, but it helps me stay organized. So Notion.